No progress to report in the negotiations between quarterback Dan Marino and Dolphin owner Joe Robbie. Marino went home to Pittsburgh last night to wait out the ordeal at his parents' house. If he thought going there would be able to escape the hounding from the media, he was sorely mistaken. Marino was met at the airport by a battery of reporters and photographers. Everybody wants to know what he's going to do, but Marino apparently isn't sure himself.
I'd like to be in camp too with everybody else, but it's a time right now. I was really left no other alternative but to come home, and it's not. I think it's just a case of that. Things just couldn't be worked out at the time, and things just didn't happen the way I expected they would.
Last year, after your Super Bowl performance, the boy said, whatever he wants, we're going to give him. What happened?
Well, that's not necessarily true. He didn't say whatever I wanted I would get. I think it's just a case of everybody thought, and I thought too, that the contract would be renegotiated, and I still think it will be, but right now it's just not the case right now.
That's absolutely false. Last Monday night I was called and asked to put $5 million of insurance on Dan Marino if he would return to camp and to operate under his present contract, and that he would nevertheless continue to hold out for $7 million or more. What, in effect, I was being asked to do was to put a $5 million insurance umbrella over his head while he followed the advice of Marvin Demoff, his lawyer, to play out his present contract and to become a free agent. We were being asked to finance his campaign to become a free agent, and of course we refused to do it. Yeah.
Record-setting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins ended his 38-day holdout. He still doesn't have a new contract. Owner Joe Robbie said he would not renegotiate until Marino returned to camp and honored his old contract with about $300,000 a season. Marino wants at least $1 million a year, and he says he still wants all this settled before the season begins, but he added he didn't want to let his teammates down, and it simply boiled down to the fact that he had to get the pads back on.
You know, I think I'll be able to play this week, and hopefully I'll have a chance to play, and it's not my decision. I'm just going to come out and work as hard as I can this week and continue to work throughout the whole season, and I think I'll be able to play.
We've got a long week, to get ready for Houston, our first ball game, and he looks in excellent condition. He's been doing a lot of running, and we're just going to work overtime with him to get him caught up on all the things that we've been doing in the time that he's missed as far as looking at films and studying coverages. And then this week in practice, we'll get him worked back into the offense and make a decision later in the week as to how much he plays in the ball game, or whether or not he's ready to start the ball game, or whatever the situation is.
Well, Shula has already dubbed this the most disruptive training camp he has ever run during his illustrious career. Aside from Marino, third-string quarterback Jim Jensen was holding out. He also reported yesterday. But a couple of other starters are missing, Bob Ruzinski and Glenn Blackwood. The injuries have been numerous. It may have all come to a head 2 weeks ago in an exhibition game against the Raiders. Quarterback Don Strock explained.
I call my own plays, and I always have since I've been here. And I waved over to the sidelines for Coach Shula to send in, a couple players or whatever, and 7 people started running on the field. So I was saying, no, you go back, and you stay, and you go back, and you stay. No, Hope, you come back, and you go. No, you go with him. So wait a minute.
So tomorrow, some of those guys who weren't supposed to go in are going to be out of a job. All of the exhibition games have been completed, and in 28 hours or so, the final cut down to the limit of 45. And that 45-man rule has been a thorn in more than one coach's side this preseason. Seen is the departure of some big names from the sideline.
The Dolphins cut place kicker Uwe von Schaman. The Jets let linebacker Greg Buttle go. The Browns cut Ricky Feature, but this past Thursday they named him Assistant Director of Player Relations. Also getting the axe in Cleveland, former All-Pro lineman Joe DeLamelure. The Seahawks released Reggie McKenzie, and in Houston it was Robert Brazile. Tom Condon in Kansas City, a couple of safeties in Tim Fox and Rick Sanford. Green Bay's Mike McCoy. The Falcons released running back Lynn Kane, while the Redskins cut punt returner Mike Nelms. 6 players retired before the axe could fall. Doug Wilkerson, George Stark, Larry McCarron, Steve Riley, Archie Manning, and 15-year veteran Jack Youngblood of the Rams. The way you slice it, the teams have to be leaner and meaner this season. Some players are going to have to be proficient at more than one position, and the coaches have to go with their head instead of their heart and make cuts they would rather not make.
I felt that the system for the past 2 years was a very workable system. You had enough players to practice with. You could develop young players. In the event that somebody got hurt, you had a player that was ready to step in off the bench and do the job. Now we're going to be faced with some situations where it's going to be tough to practice if you get anybody nicked at all that can't work.